Welcome back to Autoview Pro, folks. Today we're diving into something that's got both fans and critics holding their breath, the 2026 Chevrolet Camaro. But fair warning, what you're about to hear isn't just a standard walk around. In many ways, this is about possibilities, rumors, and the future of one of America's legendary muscle names. So strap in and let's roll. 2. Let's start with a reality check. Officially, the Camaro as we've known it ended after the 2024 model year. Chevrolet confirmed that the 6th generation Camaro would be its last, at least in its current form. Despite that, the Camaro name has not been retired completely. GM has hinted that it's not the end of the story. What the story becomes is what we're here to explore, because the 2026 Camaro isn't yet a confirmed, final production model in the traditional sense. Much of what circulates now is based on leaks, renderings, concept designs, and industry speculation. But as creators, that's also exciting. There's space to paint a vision, to anticipate what might come, and to examine what would make a 2026 Camaro truly impactful. So in this video, we'll look at 1. The history and transition that leads us to 2026. 2. What rumors and leaks suggest about design and powertrain. 3. Possible variants, electrification, and performance scenarios. 4. How it might fare in the market and among enthusiasts. 5. And finally, how you, as a viewer or potential buyer, should watch this space. Let's get started. 2. First, how did we get here? Chevrolet's discontinuation of the Camaro in 2024 came amid shifting priorities in the auto world, stricter emissions rules, the pivot toward electrification, and changing buyer tastes. For decades, the Camaro competed as a classic muscle car, V8 at the front, rear-wheel drive, bold styling. But times are changing. GM has publicly committed to a broad electrification roadmap, including the goal of an all-electric lineup by 2035. In that light, the Camaro's future likely won't mirror its past. Still, even as the existing Camaro wrapped its run, GM insisted the nameplate was not dead, just in wait. And in marketing, concept visions, and leaks, the Camaro idea continues to evolve. One side of speculation imagines the Camaro reborn as an electric performance vehicle, perhaps even in crossover or SUV form. Another side expects that if it returns as a coupe, it would start a new generation altogether, with modern platforms, hybrid or electric assist, and a more efficient architecture. Render artists, too, have contributed their interpretations, blending retro cues with futuristic flair. So while there is no confirmed 2026 Camaro in dealership catalogs yet, the buzz is real, and in many respects that's where our focus lies. 2. Let's talk design and styling. What might a 2026 Camaro look like? Renderers have already given us some strong ideas. A digital concept by Highcade imagines the Camaro retaining its signature long hood and aggressive stance, but with sharper edges, ultra-wide fenders, sculpted body surfaces, and modern lighting elements. The concept keeps dual exhausts, massive intakes, and hints at a performance orientation, though it's speculative and not based on confirmed engineering. In other media, virtual renderings of a 2026 SS show an ultra-wide body, low roofline, and things like ventilated hoods and aggressive aero sculpting. Speculative proposals even include a ZZ632 crate engine under that hood, a big block V8 with over 1,000 horsepower. But these are conceptual, not confirmed. Another theme in leaks is a shift in body style. There's talk that a future Camaro may not be a traditional pony car at all, but rather a performance SUV with the Camaro name. That would be a radical departure. But as more buyers gravitate toward crossovers, and as packaging constraints for batteries and electrified drivetrains grow, it's a possibility that cannot be dismissed. If it remains a coupe, it's likely the 2026 model would refine the visual language. Sharper lines, sleeker lights, modern cues from Chevy's design DNA, while maintaining a muscular presence. Expect carbon fiber accents, active aero elements, possibly wider tracks, and maybe even visible cooling ducts or vents hinting at performance. Inside, render speculation leans toward minimalist, driver-focused cabins. Expect digital instrument clusters, haptic touch controls, ambient lighting, and materials that balance sport and luxury. Concepts also imagine over-the-air software updates, more connectivity, and an immersive cockpit. Storage, ergonomics, and packaging will likely be rethought, especially if the Camaro drifts toward electrified layouts. 2. Now, powertrain and performance, the heart and soul. This is where the rumor mill gets intense, and where speculation multiplies. One of the more talked about angles is that the 2026 Camaro could be all electric or heavily electrified. Motor Trend published a piece stating the Camaro might transition to electric-only power. If that's the case, multiple electric motor layouts could come into play. For example, a dual-motor all-wheel drive variant, or even more ambitious setups for higher performance versions. That opens doors to instant torque, variable power delivery, and performance metrics that rival current supercars. Even so, some enthusiasts believe Chevrolet might strike a balance. A hybrid V8 or V8 with electric assist approach could bridge tradition and modernity. Under such a scheme, you might retain the signature V8 exhaust note while getting extra boost, efficiency, and torque fill from electric motors. It's speculative, but plausible as a transitional strategy. In internal concept circles, proposals ranging from a 500 HP to 650 lux are floated. Videos and leaks about a Camaro 512 suggest a 2026 version putting out 650 horsepower. Other render-based speculation on a 6.2L V8 plus electric assist gets similar numbers in whispers. Meanwhile, more aggressive concept proposals like a ZZ632 crate engine push far beyond into over-the-top territory. In terms of performance, you can expect ambitious targets. 0 to 60 mph in the low 3-second range or even sub-3 for top variants, depending on traction, weight, and powertrain. For a return model to really excite enthusiasts, those kinds of benchmarks are almost expected. Transmission options in a traditional V8-based Camaros, if that route is chosen, might include a manual Lars for purists and an automatic or dual clutch for performance models. But in electric or hybrid models, transmission architecture may be simplified. More power electronics, fewer gear sets. Weight will be a critical factor. Any 2026 Camaro would need to manage the heavy burden of battery packs, if electric or hybrid, chassis reinforcement, and performance components. So lightweight materials, carbon fiber, aluminum alloys, advanced composites will likely play a big role in the structure, body panels, and suspension parts. Suspension, brakes, and handling are equally important. Expect performance versions to feature adaptive dampers, multi-link rear setups, high-performance braking, likely carbon, ceramic options on the top trims, and aerodynamic optimization. For track-oriented trims, Z28 ZL1 style, expect stiffer setups, aero wings, and possibly adjustable downforce. Let's talk variants, trims, and market positioning, how Chevrolet C or GM might structure the 2026 Camaro lineup. If the Camaro returns, it won't likely be a single model. You'll see tiers, entry or base models, mid-performance variants, and a high-performance flagship. If electrification is involved, there might also be eco or EV lifestyle trims. One rumored variant is the Camaro ERS, as mentioned in some leaks, which could be a fully electric version, possibly with dual motors and high output. Another rumor is that Chevrolet might revive the Z28 name, positioning it as the track-biased, high-performance evolution. Videos already floating around spotlighting the 2026 Camaro Z28 show extreme styling cues, track-ready aero elements, and aggressive demeanor. In leaked trailers, the Z28 is pitched as a true American muscle legend reborn. Videos also point to the existence of a 2026 SS model, a performance variant with a more balanced focus between street and sport. In some descriptions, that SS retains V8 power, possibly enhanced, with more daily usability. In render teasers, the flagship names like ZL1 return in various speculative forms, potentially combining supercharged VAs with electrified systems to chase performance marks. Even the rumor about a 2026 Camaro 512 suggests a new nomenclature for a horsepower-specific trim. With trims, pricing will matter. To reclaim relevance, a reintroduced Camaro would likely need aggressive pricing to compete with European sports cars, electric performance rivals, and even high-end muscle models. Exactly where it lands will depend heavily on powertrain costs, battery costs, and how much of GM's EV infrastructure it shares with other models. Also, not all trim levels will be for the street. Limited, run, track, focused versions with carbon, fiber bodywork, weight reduction programs, exclusive aero packages, and perhaps even racing homologation versions are on the table. To Nexty challenges risks and how the market might respond. Reviving a legacy name like Camaro is not without pitfalls. 1. Heritage vs. Evolution. Longtime fans expect a V8 roar, engaging driving dynamics, and emotional appeal. Move too far toward electrification or crossovers, and you risk alienating the core. But if you stay too traditional, you may struggle with emissions, weight, and relevance in a changing market. 2. Weight and packaging. If electric or hybrid systems are used, battery weight is significant. Engineers will have to find ways to mitigate that through clever packaging, lightweight materials, and efficient layouts. 3. Cost and pricing. EV components, battery packs, advanced electronics. These add cost. Pricing the Camaro competitively while retaining performance credentials will be a delicate balancing act. 4. Competition. The Camaro's return will pit it not just against muscle car rivals, but against modern performance EVs from Tesla, Lucid, or Porsche's Taycan. It'll need to deliver on power, handling, and tech to stand out. 5. Regulatory environment. Emissions targets, safety regulations, crashworthiness standards, especially for future global markets, will influence what powertrains, materials, and architectures are viable. 6. Brand identity and acceptance. As rumors spread that the Camaro might return as an SUV, some fans have criticized this shift as betraying the original spirit of the muscle car. The brand must walk a line between modernization and preserving what made Camaro iconic. 7. Reliability and execution. Bold concepts can underdeliver if engineering, manufacturing, quality control falls short. To make a 2026 Camaro real and competitive, GM will need strong execution in engineering, software systems, and materials. That said, the upside is huge. A well-executed return can reposition Camaro for a new era, rekindle passion, and attract a new generation of performance buyers. Now, how might the 2026 Camaro perform in the eyes of enthusiasts and buyers? For die-hard fans, the idea that the Camaro may return, particularly with V8 or hybrid V8 roots, is emotional. The expectation is that it must carry forward not just a name, but a feeling, throttle response, chassis balance, exhaust drama, and the connection between driver and machine. If the 2026 Camaro strikes that emotional chord while offering modern tech, efficiency, and performance, it could become a benchmark again. On the buyer side, the Camaro's success may depend on how well it distinguishes itself. If it returns as another performance coupe in a crowded landscape, it must offer not just power, but unique character, strong dealer support, and a compelling ownership experience. In terms of collectability, limited, track editions, or performance models could gain traction, especially if they mark the rebirth of the Camaro name. Given GM's scale and resources, if they commit, they can support the Camaro with parts, updates, and broader model integration, which helps long-term viability. Also, the timing is interesting. Launching a 2026 model positions the Camaro to ride the wave of shifting consumer tastes before full electrification becomes strictly mandatory, giving it a window to re-establish itself. 2. Finally, what should you, as a viewer, an enthusiast, or a possible buyer, keep an eye on? Official announcements from GM Chevrolet. Until then, much is speculative. Patent filings, trademark activity, and concept reveals. These often hint at direction before a full reveal. Render leaks and industry insiders. Treat them cautiously but watch for consistent threads. Performance claims and dyno data. If early prototypes or test mules surface, power figures can hint at what's real. Platform and architecture choices. Whether an existing EV GM architecture is used or a bespoke design is built, that will influence cost and performance. Pricing, trim structure, and options. How accessible this car will be to buyers matters for adoption. Initial test drives, reviews, and engineering insights. When the car emerges, how it feels will define its reception. And one more thing, when you make your own content, like this script, emphasize not just specs but narrative. Tell the story of a legend that's in flux. Talk about what might succeed and what could go wrong. Invite your viewers into the speculation. 2. To wrap up, whether or not a 2026 Chevrolet Camaro ends up arriving exactly as these rumors suggest, the journey toward it is fascinating. The name has legacy weight, the pressure to evolve is real. For Autoview Pro, this is fertile ground. You can lead with insight, analysis, and storytelling as new news emerges. If you'd like, I can also help you break this into video segments, suggest visuals or B-roll cues, or generate a shorter, highlight reel version of this script. Just say the word. Thanks for sticking around. And until next time, let's keep watching the road ahead.